And I want to ask at our digital thing, our next speaker, it's going to be Heather VanCura. Please welcome Heather.
Yes.
And she is the Vice President and Community Engagement at Oracle. It's really, really big company, as I know. And but I don't know, have you seen our previous speakers? I'm Heather. But for all of you, we provide such a small gift from our side. It's based on your previous answers that you give us at Google Form. And our tech team will provide it right now. I think at our team, here's the result of your answers. And my first question is, who are they? As I see, it's again a team. We have a third team from our speakers, and let's give a name for this team. How we would name this team that came to you today and will help you at this presentation?
How would I name it?
Yeah. Because they're going to be like your co-pilot at our Java Cloud Builders.
Okay. All right. Film noir, I guess, here. Can you hear
so
me?
the name and the but I didn't hear the name of that you propose for this team.
Oh, the name for my team. Okay. Well, we're going to be the King Crab team.
King Crab team. That's great. And do you think does he really good in Java?
Is he good at? Are we good at Java? I think so. We must be.
Okay. And does he good at keys to developer productivity?
Do you want me to share my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Got you. Okay.
Because we need to, answer to these really important questions before that.
Okay, got you. Got it. Okay.
So the question is, are they really good at case to developer productivity? Do you think I think they definitely should, especially the crab with his hands. He definitely can find these keys. And
I mean, my presentation is about productivity from the individual perspective as well as the team. So this dog here seems to be orchestrating everything going on there. So you can think of yourself as the leader of the team, making your team more productive.
Yeah, it's a leader. And let's think, what is the superpower of this team?
The superpower is that they are collaborators.
Collaborators.
And innovators.
That's great. I really like it. So today...
I like it too.
It
just took me a minute to figure out what you were asking me. So yeah, now I get it. I didn't see anyone else's intro. So okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, I understand. Okay, so today, Heather with her team gonna tell us and learn about the keys to the developer productivity, collaborate, and innovate. So feel free to ask Heather about anything in Slido. And Heather, let's start to rock.
You want me to share my screen? Is that what you want me to do?
I think it's gonna be like just in a minute. Yeah, they will definitely show it.
Okay, gotcha. How's that? Just let me know. Okay. All right. Well, that was definitely one of the more unique introductions I've had, so appreciate that. Today, as we mentioned, we're going to talk about the keys to developer productivity, collaborate, and Innovate. And as we talked about, I work at Oracle. I'm presenting here from the perspective of my role with the Java community process, which is I'm the chairperson of that organization, the JCP. So throughout the organization, I'll tell you a little bit about what that is. But we're going to start with this concept that working together in the Java community, we achieve more than when we work alone. So a little bit of context, Java is 28 years old. The JCP program, which is the standards organization that sets the specification for the Java language and the program, has been around for 25 years. And Java continues to be an important choice for enterprises and for developers. And based on the changes that we've done since Java 9, the Java technology innovation pipeline has never been richer, with Java 21 being available now as of September. And that's really the focus of my presentation. So with the innovation pipeline being so rich with the Java platform, how can you as developers and members of development teams take advantage of this innovation and really start to migrate your applications and do that in a faster way, in a more productive way that does not take away from the time that your development team has to work on other projects in production in your environment. So one of the things that we've continued to maintain throughout the history of Java in the last 28 years is performance, stability, security, compatibility, and maintainability. Those things have remained constant. And one of the things that is really essential to that compatibility and the ecosystem that's around Java is the structure that the JCP program provides. So as we evolve the Java language and platform, we use the JCP to do that. And we do it in a way that's a thoughtful evolution that balances being conservative and making sure we maintain the compatibility and we don't alienate users. But we also, on the other side, are innovative and adapt to change, fix any issues that arise, and introduce new language features and benefits into the platform that developers can take advantage of. So going back to those strategies and values that we have, productivity, maintainability of the code, and as well as performance. So because we've continued to do this, we have gained trust. We continue to have that innovation. And also now that we have releases of Java every 6 months, predictability and stability for developers and for the companies that you work for. So that has ensured that Java remains one of the top languages for the last 28 years. And also that we continue to see JVMs proliferate. 60 billion total active JVMs. And now with our focus primarily on the cloud for the Java platform, we've continued to see those cloud-based JVMs rise to over 38 billion. So as I mentioned, if you aren't aware, we have moved to a 6-month release cadence, and that does introduce predictability and innovation. So that helps teams to be more able to plan your release cycles. So help with your development teams to be able to know when you're going to have a new release of Java. We also have incorporated this concept of early access builds. So not only can you know that there's going to be a new release of Java every 6 months, you also know that there's going to be early access releases of the JDK builds every 2 weeks, so that you can prepare in advance. So as you can see, starting back after JDK 9, we had a 6-month release cadence. Every 6 months, we have a new release of Java. And you can see the numbers on this graph here are showing you the number of features that are incorporated into every release. So features, we call them in the OpenJDK project, we call those JEPs, so Java Enhancement Proposals. So these numbers here are showing you how many new features or JEPs are incorporated into every release of the JDK. And then every release of the JDK also has a platform JSR. So that's a Java specification request, and that's terminology that's in the Java community process or the JCP. So the work of these releases is done in OpenJDK as Java Enhancement Proposals or JEPs. And then those JEPs are fed up into a JSR that is approved by the JCP, the specification, and then it's released for you to use in production. So be able to migrate your applications to the newer releases of Java. So you can see here, when we had releases every 3 to 4 years of Java, we typically would have 56 to 91, sometimes even more, sometimes over 100 features in a platform release. So that can be difficult to be productive when you have to migrate your applications to a new version of Java, right? You've got so many different things that you need to integrate and migrate. With our smaller and more predictable release cadence of every 6 months, what we've seen is not only do we have more innovation collectively, but it's also easier to migrate your application. So you have 12, 17, 8, 5. The number will vary. So the release model now is whatever's ready to go into the platform will go into the platform, and the platform will be released exactly every 6 months all the way. So what we've been able to do is invest in the long-term innovation to do that, but we still deliver a rich pipeline of features. So while we had those releases in the past where we'd have the project names, so project names coming out of OpenJDK, we still have those projects going on in OpenJDK. So this is where the work of the JEPs is done. So I've highlighted here a few of the projects within OpenJDK where we're seeing a lot of innovation. So you might pick a project that you would like to follow that corresponds to some of your personal or team interests. So this is really where the innovation is happening. And all of these projects within OpenJDK will have a mailing list. So you can follow the mailing list, take a look at the issue trackers, and also some of these projects have their own early access builds. But each of these projects will have corresponding Java enhancement proposals once they're far enough along in the work of the project to put forward Java enhancement proposals for acceptance. And then as the JEPs move further along, they'll be targeted for a release, so a Java platform release. Like, for example, we just released Java 21 and we're already starting to work on Java 22. So Java 21 is available now. It had 15 enhancement proposals in it. It had updates to several of those projects that I just showed, as well as thousands of performance, stability, and security improvements. And you may or may not have noticed that Java FX is now available with the download of the Java platform as well. So Java 21 also was designated as a long-term support release, but again, technically that doesn't make those type of releases any different, and your teams can migrate every 6 months to the newer version of Java. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more as I get a little deeper into this presentation about how you can do that and where you would go to do that. So just to show you some of the categories of changes that went into Java 21. So from Java 20, which was earlier in 2023 in March, to Java 21 in September. These are the Java Enhancement Proposals, or JEPs, that were put into that platform. So in the categories of new language features that are in preview mode. So we've introduced this idea of preview features. So with JDK 21, there were 3 language feature previews. That means that they're fully specified and you can use them, but they're turned off. So you just have to turn them on when you download the JDK. And what that means, if it's in preview, is that we're looking for more feedback from the developer community in terms of try out these features and share with us how they work for you and what we could do to make them better. And what we've typically seen since we've introduced these preview features is that you'll see JEP be a preview if we decide that it's one of those features that needs some more developer feedback before we include it as a regular feature. It will go through a preview feature phase maybe 2 to 3 times. So record patterns and pattern matching for switch were features that already had previews, and so they're incorporated in Java 21. And then we have a few more coming that are incorporated as previews. Then we also have some performance improvements, library improvements, and then some library improvements that are in preview, as well as some that fall into the category of stewardship. So we put things like deprecation here as well. So even things like deprecation would have a JEP. So the JEPs within the project OpenJDK are designated here. That's why you see the numbers if you wanted to check those out. So every JEP will have its own page that you can go and dig deeper into the details. So those language features are in Project Amber. So the OpenJDK projects that I showed you, that's where you're going to find your language features, things that make it easier to code and easier to maintain your code. Those are going to be coming out of Project Amber. Then we had the libraries improvements. So those are important and essential. And I would say the biggest and most highly anticipated and favorite feature when I go and talk to developers, they share with me is virtual threads from Project Loom. That was JEP 444, and that is available as of Java 21 as well. So I'm sure if you've tried out Java 21, or even if you just read about it, you've heard about virtual threads. And finally, the last category I'll highlight is performance improvements. So things like generational ZGC. So we've been seeing this over the last several rounds of releases. So improving application and performance by extending the ZGC to maintain separate generators for young and old objects. And that's just a high-level overview of what was in Java 21. Now, one of the things that the team likes to do every major platform release of Java is share who's participating from the community. And this is where the innovation comes in. I talked about innovation, but collaboration as well. So the other interesting thing that we've seen since we moved from the feature release model to the 6-month release cadence is that we've continued to see the number of participants and collaborators contributing back to OpenJDK increase. So this chart is showing you not just who's consuming the things that come out of OpenJDK as a project and obviously utilizing the JVMs, all those numbers I talked about, but who's actually contributing and collaborating to the work of the platform. And that's a really important thing for the health of the technology as well as the community. And not only is that going to allow you to get your bug fixes put into the platform, but it's also going to help you to become more familiar with the code as you collaborate, not only consuming the technology, but collaborating and participating. So we've continued to see this red box here would be issues fixed by Oracle. So that while that's still the largest contributor, we have continued to see the number of contributors to the OpenJDK project increase. So this is looking only at JDK 21, the issues fixed. So I think it's a great thing to see this continue to grow. And I would encourage you to, as you start to get more involved in the platform, to collaborate, think about how you can contribute. And the nice thing about the 6-month release cadence is that you're actually going to see a concrete result. If you're contributing back and providing issues fixed, you're going to see those integrated into the next platform release much more quickly than if you had to wait 3 to 4 years. So I think that's one of the things that's really driving this increase in collaboration and participation across the community. So we've continued to see the community grow and have these strengthened numbers, not just with downloads and users of Java, but also user groups and Java champions and certification through Oracle University. So it's really this whole ecosystem that comes together to provide that environment that fosters collaboration and innovation. So all of these projects working together. Obviously, I've focused primarily on the Java community process and OpenJDK, but there's also a rich Java user group community that you can reach out to wherever you are in the world. There's Java user groups all over the world, as well as the educational aspect and the ambassadors program, the Java champions. So I'm going to share with you a little bit more about what you can do to get more involved, including getting involved with the JCP. So if you're not familiar, the JCP is an organization that runs with a program office, an executive committee or board of directors, and a chairperson, that's me. But the real work of the community is done by the specification leads of the JSRs and our JCP members, which are expert group members as well as contributors on those JSRs. And then, of course, our executive committee, who approves all of the JSRs before they can become final and used in any production projects. So within the JCP, we have 3 membership levels: associate member for individuals, partner members for Java user groups, and then the full members for qualified individuals as well as companies. Our executive committee is elected every year by the membership. We actually just finished our elections, and we have a new member in the executive committee, which is the Japan Java user group. But here's a picture showing our most recent face-to-face meeting, which was hosted by BNY Mellon in New York City. And you can't see from looking at the picture, but we have not only companies, but also Java user groups and individuals who are on the executive committee. So the executive committee has an important role in that we oversee the evolution by voting on the specifications, but also overseeing the governance of the Java community process. So it's collaborative development, working together. Like I said, the main thing is the Java specification request. So the single version of a Java specification or the Java platform. And all of the JSRs work together with members of the community to deliver the final result, which is a specification, the reference implementation or code, and the compatibility suite that ensures the compatibility of the platform and also enables multiple implementations. So you're probably aware that there's multiple implementations to choose from in the Java ecosystem. That really is what is a strength of Java and what creates this massive community that we have, not only a community of users, but a community of implementers. So OpenJDK and Java SE, that's where the reference implementation for the Java platform spec is developed. So a lot of the work happens in OpenJDK. So that's on the OpenJDK website. But if you're not aware, we also have a mirror on GitHub as well. So you can join and follow the OpenJDK project on GitHub. And I mentioned those early access builds. So like I mentioned, every 2 weeks you can get an early access build. So right now we have not only ready for use versions, but also early access versions of the platform. So we have JDK 22 early access versions already available, as well as a couple of the project specific early access builds. So for Project Loom, where we had virtual threads coming out, you can get an early access build. You can also get an early access build of Valhalla. So what that means is right now you can go to jdk.java.net, download the JDK 22 early access build, and test it against your applications, provide feedback, and make adjustments to your code as needed, identify dependencies. So this is something that you can start to do now in preparation to migrate. And you can do this on your own, or what I encourage you to do is do it as part of your development team and with your development manager, integrate that into your cycles. So JDK 21 is available now. That was JSR 396. As I mentioned before, you can see here, this page, when you go to the JDK pages of every number, you can follow the same format. Every JEP is detailed, so you have an idea of what's coming next. And you can dive deeper into all of these JEPs in addition to downloading the early access build. So now it's there, JSR 397, Java SE 22. Actually, Java SE 23 is already getting put up this week as well. So obviously we're looking forward to the future, and you can do that with your development teams as well to increase your productivity. So like I mentioned, every JDK platform page has the same format. Also, if you go to jcp.org, there's the JSR page, and it also will have the same format, showing you where you can go to get to the project page for the release, where you can find the issue tracker, where you can find the mailing lists. I mentioned dependencies earlier, and within OpenJDK, there's also a quality outreach group. And as part of the quality outreach group, there is a collection of open source projects where you can look for your project that maybe you've identified as a dependency and contact the maintainer, as well as see if there's any issues that you can help to fix if there's any dependencies that you identify when you're downloading your early access builds. So I encourage you to check out this project and get involved. You can also follow OpenJDK on Twitter or X. That's a great place to know when the early access builds are released, when new JEPs are introduced, when milestones are happening, as well as OpenJDK mailing lists. So there are many I shared that you can join mailing lists for each of the projects that you're interested in. You can also join the mailing list for the Quality Outreach Program. And the last thing I'll leave with you is these two websites where you can find the latest Java news. So the Java platform group and developer relations team has these websites that they've put together that really are a collection of all the news to stay up to date with what's coming next with the Java platform. And if you would like to join the JCP, you can do that by following the instructions on jcp.org or following us on our Twitter X accounts. We also have a blog and a Facebook account, but most active on Twitter. And we do have a public EC meeting coming up on December 12th that you're free to join. I want to leave you with the thought that we need you to get involved. It's going to help the platform be better, but also it's going to help your team to collaborate and also be more productive by getting involved in the development and the evolution of the technology that you're using every day. If you have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at HeatherVC, or feel free to reach out to me in email via heather@jcp.org. I do have just a closing thought, which is I recently published a book called Developer Career Master Plan. So if you're interested in learning how to build your path to senior level and beyond, incorporating some of these community and technology skills, as well as making an impact at your company, I encourage you to check out the book.
Thanks, Heather, for your presentation. And do we have a couple of questions before we leave you?
I have time for one question. I have time for only one question because I actually have
only one short question. Is it possible to vote for the most anticipated language feature anywhere?
Well, I think Java 21 and Java 8 have been the most popular language features that I've seen. I've been working in the Java developer community since 2000. And yeah, so when we had Java 8 come out, everyone was really excited about streams and lambdas. But now I would say that I think virtual threads really rivals that just in terms of the excitement that we're seeing in the community. So that's the one of the features that came out with Java 21 just this couple months ago.
Great. Okay, thank you, Heather, for your time, for your presentation, and it was Heather with her team, that will live at our Java Cloud, and we'll see you after a short break. See you. Bye bye.